Everybody, welcome into this edition of Locked On Astros. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. Tonight, we will be talking about Yainer Diaz. We'll be talking about Espada, Framber. Is there a Cub out there that the Astros want to trade for? And Ohtani, I'm sorry, we got to talk about him. 3 unanimous MVPs. Let's talk about it right now.
This is Walker Yannick. You're listening to Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
Hey everybody, it's your boy H-Town Wheelhouse. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is Locked On Astros. We are your team every single day. Make sure you make us your first listen. Make sure you make Locked On MLB your second listen every day. I am in tonight solo. Eric was a little bit under the weather tonight. He tried to make it, but look, down here in Texas, when we get cold weather, it throws everybody for a loop. So I promise you, Eric will be back next week. We'll probably do some evergreen episodes. I know we are coming up on the Thanksgiving week. For me as a teacher, I have a Thanksgiving break, so I will have a much needed time off, but I will be unveiling the 2024 season Astros promo pack. I'll be doing an unboxing. I'll record that and post that during the week. And, who knows? Maybe once we get into the first week of December, that we'll start seeing some movement. But this episode tonight, as always, is brought to you by one of our amazing sponsors, FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sports book. When you place your first $5 bet and you win, you'll get $150 in bonus bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to get started today. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in. We got some people in, 22 of y'all coming in bright and early. Brian Hayes showing the beer. Hopefully, I guess you're kicking back, having a brew. Nothing wrong with that. Mr. Rashard, Mr. Reyes, you guys are here. Linda is here, and I'm sure Mama Wheelhouse will be here soon after. But the first thing I want to talk about are the catcher rankings put out by Baseball Nerds. Now, there's rankings that go on all through the sports world. You'll have Baseball America. You'll have MLB.com. You'll have various prospect sites. You'll have the Astros Future, Jimmy and those guys at Astros Future will rank the Astros top prospects, and then MILB, Pipeline will rank them something else. So, rankings are what they are. There was just some things about this ranking that I don't necessarily want to say bothered me, because I didn't hear whether or not these rankings were based on overall WAR. Were they based on defensive metrics? What were they based on? Now, there are some placements of these catchers that I do agree with, but there were several of them I don't agree with. And so I'm going to go ahead and show them to you. If you're listening, I've got a chart up. It says at Baseball Nerds, top 20 catchers heading into 2025, and I just have the top 10. Cal Riley at number 1. Now, I can't argue with Cal Riley at number 1. If you look at his numbers, look at his WAR, he had a great year. There's Adley Rutschman second, Willem Contreras third, Francisco Alvarez fourth, Patrick Bailey fifth, Austin Wells sixth. You haven't heard Yainer Diaz yet. Will Smith seventh, Gabriel Moreno eighth, Yainer Diaz ninth, right above Alejandro Kirk. Excuse me? Hello, are you serious? But look at this. Austin Wells at 6 over Will Smith. Now, you're not going to see me many times come on here and defend Dodgers players, but Will Smith is not ranked 7th on this list. But Austin Wells is above Smith and Diaz. Let's look at Wells and Diaz compared. Okay, look at this. 3.2 WAR, 175 hits. Wells, 115 games, only 13 home runs. Well, look, Diaz has 16 home runs. He could have done a little bit better than that. A 299 average, OPS plus of 118, OPS of 766. And so to me, clearly Diaz should be ranked. If we're going with this ranking, okay, and I'll get to y'all's comments here in a second because I'm not even looking at them right now. Have y'all seen Adley Rutschman and him compared to Yainer Diaz? Yainer Diaz is better than Adley Rutschman. Yainer Diaz has better numbers than Adley Rutschman. And I thought I had it pulled up, but I'll try to get that sometime, and we'll look at it again later because I don't want to waste your time trying to hem and haw and cut through different things. But what are y'all's thoughts? Look, Yainer Diaz, 9th overall. I think he's higher. I know there has been some really interesting, I don't want to say interesting takes. There's been some critical takes on Yainer Diaz. The defense seemed to take a dip this year. His bat's still very, very good. One of the best offensive, not the best offensive catcher, I think, in the AL, at least when it came to the West, the East, and those, series. Yeah, those are huge numbers for a catcher. I agree. But I'm wondering what they're talking about when it comes to their, is the catching ability, is the pop time in there, is throwing runners out or not throwing runners out, is that factored in? Look, Chris Reyes goes huge here. He says Adley Rutschman is overrated. I wouldn't say Adley Rutschman is overrated. I don't know if Adley Rutschman is number 2 on this list. Guys, if I'm being honest, guys and gals, because everybody's here, if I'm looking at this list, I'm putting Will Smith over Rutschman. I might put Willem Contreras over Rutschman. And I can't recall all of their WAR numbers, but I'm not a big fan of this list. Again, look, they're called baseball nerds for a reason. They probably studied it or did some algorithm that I'm not aware of. But so right here, well, Diaz is nowhere near the best behind the plate. I understand what you're saying there, Susan. I know he's not the best behind the plate. He does need to work on his framing. He's too slow on pickoffs, but the year before he was great. Exactly, Chris. Chris says he would put Contreras over Rutschman. I love this. I love the content. You guys and girls are falling right in line. And I wish you know what? I need to silence my watch because I keep getting dings on my phone. Let's see, go ahead and silence that. Steve is asking me a question about a trade. And since we're going to talk about Framber next, he includes Framber in this question. So Steve, good placement of the question there. Steven asks, would you do this trade? Framber Valdez, Jake Myers, Lance McCullers for Cody Bellinger and Michael Busch. I mean, I don't know. I don't think you're getting it. No. You know what? No, I would not do that. They're not going to take McCullers because he has literally no value. He's getting paid too much. He hasn't pitched. He's going to be a relief guy. I know Eric talked about them building him up, but I don't see him getting built up. I don't mind Bellinger and Busch coming here, but I think that's too much. If I'm trading Framber Valdez, I'm getting at least 1 or 2 really good prospects and a major league ready bat is what I'm getting. Or I'm getting back an arm. I'm getting back a veteran pitcher that maybe is a 4 or 5. You need a veteran presence on this team with the young arms you got. And you got, Arrighetti, you got Brown, you got these other guys coming up. Gosh, it would be so nice to have Yusei Kikuchi back. I would absolutely love that. So, Steve, to answer your question, I would not do that trade. Number one, you've got to remove Lance McCullers from that trade. He has no trade value whatsoever. Jake Myers, okay, the defense, yes, not a great arm. His bat, I just don't see right now where the value that Myers and or McCormick has in a trade, but you could probably include them. So Supreme Panda says he thinks he would keep Framber because he's a good ace. Well, here's the deal, Supreme Panda, and this is why we're talking about trading Framber Valdez, because just like Chandler Rome talked about, just like I've been talking about, and remember, and Eric, if you're watching this, I don't know if he's watching, but he made fun of me and freaked out when I said you need to trade Framber. Now, it was in a different situation, and the Astros were pretty much looked like they were being launched into the stratosphere of being irrelevant for all of 2024 when they came out of it. But Framber Valdez presents to you the best option to get something back, to get some pieces back, multiple pieces back. It won't be as much as maybe some other teams got for for the aces they traded for, but it'll still be, I think, a decent haul. If Framber is here, he is going to be the opening day starter. They're not going to put Hunter Brown on that position. We will talk about the Cy Young race here in a second. We will talk about that after these words. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app today and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Game Time is always there. I mean, they should be called On Time because every time I need tickets to Game Time, they are on time. They are there. It is easy to use. You download the app, 2 clicks, and you've got the tickets in your phone. You don't have to rubber your email, your junk email, or your spam folder. They're right there. Whether it's baseball, concerts, basketball, football, it doesn't matter the event. They've got you covered. It's not just in your city. I mean, you can look all over Game Time if you're going on a trip. So check it out today. Game Time is the only place I go with zone deals, with views from my seat, with the guarantee that they have the lowest price. If you find a lower price for the same section and same row on a different page, they will credit you 110% the difference. Make sure that you know that terms do apply, but download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create the account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKED on MLB for $20 off. Download the Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices, guaranteed. That's right. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Astros. Again, I'm H-Town Wheelhouse. You know where to find me. You know where to find the show, wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, Google, Spotify, on YouTube. Please subscribe to our channel. Please help us to get to 15,000 before next season. We would love that so much from y'all. Thank you again, once again. And hey, send another shout out to my guy, Santiago Casas, with the amazing the champ hat. Got the sweet side patch. Got the nice blip on the top. So thank you so much, sir, for that cap once again. Let's talk about something else other than Yainer Diaz, because we can't just let him hog the entire conversation. Although, look, Yainer's humble, but yes, he's very proud of what he does. Let's look at the voting for the Cy Young, because we didn't get to talk about this last night. The Cy Young voting this year, all 30 first place votes went to Tarik Skubal. Not a surprise. Seth Lugo with 93 votes. Emmanuel Clase, with 66 votes. Cole Reagan with 48. Corbin Burns, 47. Logan Gilbert, 25. Yusei Kikuchi with 1 5th place. With 1? Like, Kikuchi should be above Kirby Yates, shouldn't he? I don't know. Kirby Yates is a closer, did it all year. Kikuchi's first half. If Kikuchi had, if Kikuchi had the first half that he had in the second half, he probably would have gone for top 3. But if he would have done that, the Astros probably wouldn't have got him in the trade. Right now, this is what's interesting. So you're looking at Framber in 2024, 2 3rd place votes, 3 4th place votes, 5 5th place votes. Now, let's be honest, folks. Do we really need all these 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th place votes? Can we just vote on, just go with the top 3 and just, I don't know, I guess I get it. But, at this point, hey, this guy has, I guess it goes, I don't know. I understand it goes by point total, but whatever. I'm not a big fan of it. So, look at this. 2022, Justin Verlander got all 30 Cy Young votes for first place. And look at this. Shohei Ohtani was with the Angels, was 4th that year. Framber Valdez was 5th. The Yankees, Nestor Cortez got more votes that year than Garrett Cole. I think Garrett Cole dealt with some injuries there. Gossman was in there. Alek Manoah, Dylan Cease, who's still dealing. But Framber Valdez found his way into the 5th place rankings of that. And so you have Framber come in 7th. What do y'all think? Do y'all think he's a little low? Do you think Framber really was better than Gilbert in the second half? Let's just be honest. Corbin, I knew you would show up, my man. I knew you would show up because my guys always got Framber's back. But I've got to ask you, Corbin, I need to see in the comments, what do you think about trading Framber Valdez? If you think my assessment is correct that we're not going to get any more out of him than what we got out of him, would you rather ride with him until his contract's up and let him walk? or would you rather trade him and get something for him? So Steven, I've got a counter to you. He says Jim Crane will go over. I'm sorry, I thought you said will not. He said Jim Crane will go over the CBT. I agree. I agree with that. Brett, so Susan says, Brett, that's statistically invalid. Tell me what is statistically invalid, because I'm not sure what it is you're talking about. But Linda Coy said, I heard that Soto wanted to sign with a team with a strong farm system. Look, Linda, were we ever in the conversation? So if you're listening, I'm playing off of comments that are on the comment section. That's why you got to come join us live on YouTube. She said, I heard Juan Soto wanted to sign with a team with a strong farm system. That takes us out of the equation. Well, I don't think we were ever in the equation. A friend of mine said we were a sleeper team, but yeah, no, we're asleep and we're a team. We're not a sleeper team. So this is what Corbin says. This will be a gut punch, but if you want to invest in the future, it's better to trade Framber now and to restock the farm system. So wait, I got a counter here. About the Framber thing. Okay. So here's the deal. If the Astros trade Framber and it improves the Astros farm system, is it enough to pull Juan Soto in? Anyways, I digress. Sorry. I had to take that shot. Susan says, oh, look at this. Eric can explain why straight just vote for one guy is invalid. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Oh, okay. That's what you're speaking of. Yeah, I don't know. I guess when I look at those charts, I can't stand looking at look, this guy got 1 5th place vote. Like, who cares? Anyways, I guess it makes sense. You got to give somebody a vote. It's point system. I understand. It's just my mind doesn't like it for whatever reason. Doesn't mean I'm right. It's just, I guess, a quirk, something that kind of gets to me. Not a big deal. So let's move on to the Joe Espada. Joe Espada comes in 4th in Manager of the Year. Look at that. He got 6 votes. He was closest to Hinch, closer than anybody. Aaron Boone got 1 2nd place vote. Who voted for Aaron Boone? Is it because they went to the World Series? Mark Kotze of the A's won. God, dude, just to be on this list and be the Athletics manager this year after what they had to go through. Alex Cora, the cheater, got 1 vote, 1 3rd place vote. Steven vote. Guys, I don't know. I don't know that I agree with this. Like, do you think AJ Hinch should have gotten more votes than Steven vote? Or do you think Steven vote, his first year as manager, comes in and really flips things on their head in Cleveland and makes them a super competitive team, 1 series away from the ALCS, 2 series away from the World Series? But you do notice that Joe Espada's 4th again behind AJ Hinch. I think Joe Espada earned that 4th place spot. I think Joe Espada earned that 4th place spot because he had to weather a crazy storm. I can't imagine what he went through as a manager, and just as an individual, hearing all the stuff that not necessarily that we said about him, but that was being said about him. Like the first 2 months, people wanted to fire him on the spot. So it's just one of those things. Only Boone vote was because of the World Series. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's right. So the Yankees got that 2nd place vote because they went to the World Series, but I don't think they went to the World Series because of Aaron Boone. I think they went to the World Series because Aaron Judge got them there, but then once he got them there, he couldn't do anything to help. I can see why AJ Hinch came in 3rd, which is a legit case because the Twins flamed out and made the impossible. Oh no, I think AJ Hinch could have gotten Manager of the Year with what they did. I mean, let's be honest, guys. They had 1 starting pitcher. The Astros fell into some bad luck. Can you imagine if we would have started Kikuchi first game? Can you imagine if we would have started Hunter Brown after that? Should have, would have, could have. Gosh dang it, but we didn't. I would disagree with AJ finishing 2nd because Hinch never stopped the cheating in 2017. Panda, let me tell you about cheating in 2017, okay? He smashed 2 monitors in the tunnel. He smashed 2 monitors and tried to stop it. When I tell you professional athletes, it's very hard to control them. They do what they want. And I think this whole thing was led and spearheaded by Alex Cora and Carlos Beltran. And I think their influence was crazy insane. And that's something we will never understand on this side of the game. With that being said, let's talk about our friends at FanDuel. That's right. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Go to FanDuel.com today and get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Like right now, I'm not watching it, but last I checked, the Browns were beating the Steelers in the snow. And if the Browns could beat the Steelers in the snow, and just like Jameis Winston said, and you bet $5 on that win or they cover, then you would be getting $150 in bonus bets. So go to the Sportsbook app right now. It gives you everything you need. When you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats. You can view play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bet. So just visit FanDuel.com today. Get started with $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. That's right, the FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel. It is the NFL's official sportsbook partner. Go get them today. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Locked On Astros. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know what to do. You know, share it with everybody. Let them know we're still going on. The season may not be here, and it may be weeks, and it may be days, and it may be hours of waiting. But you know what? In the end, pitchers and catchers report like just around the corner, but actually closer than that are the winter meetings. And from what Chandler Rome said, if you missed the episode with Chandler Rome, please, please, please go back. It is not time sensitive. Go back and watch it. The guy brings it. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like him. And I tell you why they don't like him, because I had to learn this. I've actually talked to Chandler a couple times in person, and Chandler is all business. And Chandler is a reporter, guys. He's not a fan. And someone said to me the other day, well, I like Tag so much better. I like Brian McTaggart so much better than I do Chandler Rome, because McTaggart, he feels more like a fan to me. I'm like, well, he's a beat writer for MLB.com for the Astros. They just have two different approaches. Brian's very professional. Brian doesn't break decorum as he should. There's certain rules that unwritten rules that the press has to go by. And I think Brian walks that line really well. But he also lets his fandom out about other sports, so he comes across that way. Chandler Rome doesn't do that. Chandler Rome will cheer for a team or a group every once in a while, but he came on and he told us exactly what he thinks is going to happen. He said, I think that there's no way that Crane doesn't go over the luxury tax threshold. He said, I don't think that Boris is expecting Bregman to get that, but they're shooting high. They're aiming high. So they meet somewhere in the middle. Before I get on to maybe some other names, some Cubs that the Astros could trade for that might be decent ideas, Shohei Ohtani won his 3rd unanimous MVP. Guys, that's insane. His 3rd unanimous MVP. He's the first designated hitter to win MVP, and he's won all 3 of them unanimously. That's crazy. That's crazy. And so at the end of the day, say what you want about Ohtani. Say what you want. Yes, and without pitching, it is completely nuts. Completely respect Ohtani. Now, if you ever see me, if you've watched Back to the Bullpen, I have a Angels hat that is blue and yellow, and on the side it has a side patch with Shohei Ohtani's name and his symbol that he had with the Angels. It's a Shohei Ohtani commemorative hat, and I bought it for investment purposes. So if you ever see me donning an Angels hat, it's a Shohei Ohtani. And I don't know if you noticed, on the graphic that I made, the template for the show, do you notice that I put Ohtani on there, but he's not in a Dodgers uniform. I almost put him in an Angels uniform, but I put him in there in a suit, purposely cut out all the LA Dodgers stuff. So I hope y'all appreciate the extra length that I'm willing to go for that. Look, here's the deal. Someone says, well, it seems to me like he hates his job. Chandler doesn't hate his job. I assure you that. He loves what he does. He's just, I don't want to say like me, but I am very gregarious. I'm very enthusiastic. I mean, I just got through coaching my girls' basketball team. We're 2-0 on the young season. We've played two teams that aren't great. But I inserted a new defense tonight. They ran it perfectly. They ran the press break well. They ran the press well. They did all the assignments I gave them tonight. For the most part, they ran it. I'm always up. I'm very rarely down. And that's my personality. And not everybody has that personality. I've had to realize that. But just because someone's not enthusiastic or doesn't come across as they just absolutely love their job doesn't mean they don't love their job. I think Chandler he's just a very serious person. And hey, his opinions are very, very educated. He knows what he's talking about. He's in the clubhouse every day. And that's a part of his job that I envy him for, because I would love to be next to those players. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's not supposed to act like a fan is what I'm trying to say, Panda. So you're never going to get that out of him. Now, the Chicago Cubs. Who could the Astros go after when it comes to the Chicago Cubs? Like, I know we've heard Cody Bellinger, all right, but last night there was a player that was mentioned by not last night. Whenever we had Chandler Rome on, he talked about Patrick Wisdom. Is that someone that the Astros could go after, that it would be worth grabbing? Now, Michael Busch was mentioned earlier. He plays first base. Let's see what he did in 2024. 2024, he hit 248. He had WRC plus of 119. Okay, not bad. Just barely above league. Well, I guess about 19 points above league. I think league average is 100. 21 home runs, 73 runs, 65 RBI. Okay. A walk rate of 11%, K rate 28%, but he dropped it almost 10 points from the previous year with the Dodgers. Michael Busch definitely seems to have some promise. He is 27 though. He is young. He is in pre-arb, which means this guy right here, he won't be a free agent, guys. He's arbitration eligible in 2027. He won't be a free agent until 2030. It's 2024. If you're going to get Michael Busch from the Cubs, now look, if you could get Michael Busch, Patrick Wisdom, and you package Framber Valdez, maybe a Jake Myers because he's Gold Glove. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think the Astros would package? Corbin or Steve or anybody here, Texan USMC? Do y'all think that the Astros could get both Wisdom and Busch? Now, if we go back to that trade that you proposed earlier, all right, now I'll kind of sit on this a little bit. Steven, you had talked about Michael Busch coming over here from the Cubs, right? Well, if I'm giving up Framber, I want more than what you offered initially. I'm sitting here looking for your trade proposal. Oh, it's right here. So let's remove Lance McCullers. You say Cody Bellinger and Michael Busch. I think Cody Bellinger's too much. I think Cody Bellinger's like he's supposed to be getting like 20-something million this next year. I'm not paying him that. I'll pay for Patrick Wisdom and Michael Busch. Patrick Wisdom, Michael Busch, and I wonder who else we could get for Framber and Myers. Do they have now? They just picked up Eli Morgan, so they're not going to trade him. They pretty much need pitchers. I don't know, man. Someone here mentioned Shota Imanaga. I really don't think they're going to go for that because this guy in 2024 was 15-3. They're not. If they trade Shota Imanaga and Michael Busch, it would have to be Framber and probably 2 or 3 other pieces. The Cubs have some pieces that the Astros really, really like. My thinking behind that contract, Steve said, my thinking behind that trade was a bad contract for a bad contract. I ran a trade analyzer that said it was a fair trade. Okay. Makes sense. Point taken. So bad contract Lance versus bad contract Cody, but Cody's going to actually contribute. No offense, Lance. He's not going to contribute as much as, Lance is not going to contribute near as much as Mr. Bellinger will. If Bellinger stays healthy. Again, both those guys struggle with health. You can trade for that outfield of the Cubs. Oh, okay. Kevin Alcantara. Yeah, he's good. The Cubs have a really juicy lineup. They have a lineup that has a lot of players that I look at and I'm like, wow. I don't think they're going to trade Imanaga. I think I said that right. If I butchered his name, I do apologize. But they've got some good pieces, man. They got some good players. Who will they get rid of? Hey, let's just get Seiya Suzuki while we're at it, or Isaac Paredes. let's just take the whole Cubs lineup. The Cubs actually got a pretty freaking good lineup. If they could just put it together pitching wise, we will see. But hey, guys, thank y'all for tuning in to Locked On Astros. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. This has been great. Y'all, as always, are the real rock stars. And without y'all, we don't have a show. Y'all do a great job. For myself and Eric, who's not here under the weather, say some prayers for my guy. He's not feeling well. Corbin, Mr. Richard, Steven, Texas USMC, thank you for your service. Panda, Corbin, I almost called you Carter Dixon like there was 2 different people. DV, Susan, Linda. I gotta text my mom and find out why Mama Wheelhouse was not on here. But who knows? Next week when I do a show, Mama Wheelhouse is going to be in my house. Maybe she'll make a guest appearance on the show. Maybe I can talk her into it. Y'all have a good one. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I'm Htown Wheelhouse. This is the #1 Astros podcast on the planet. Remember, we are your team every day, and we'll talk to you before next Thanksgiving. But hey, y'all have a good Thanksgiving week. Go Stros.